Good evening and welcome to this week's meeting of the Norton Board of Selectmen. Today is Thursday, July 12th, 2018. With the record show, 4 members are present. Mr. Salvo could not make it tonight. And we have Town Manager Michael Units. Pledge of allegiance, please. God. Pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We have a number of applications. We have an application of Norton High School cross-country booster organization, care of Pam Anderson, for a 5K road race to be held on Saturday, October 27, 2018, entirely contained on school property. It's a fundraiser for the cross-country team. Everyone have a copy of the application? Anyone have any questions?
The only question I have is, where it's not off school property, why do we have to approve it?
I was wondering the same thing.
I don't know.
You know, I think before it used to come off the school property and go
Onto the road.
around. But I was just thinking the same thing, if it's on school property.
Right,
I mean, I don't have a problem with it, I just,
Well, we'll approve it, but
yeah, but
I'll let them know for the next time.
yeah, I mean, as long as it doesn't go on a street or something, I
Yeah.
can't see where we would have
Just-
jurisdiction.
there says no police or highway details required.
No, it stays right in the.
They're in the
school
schools.
property, it doesn't touch
Right.
anything.
Well, Chair, entertain a motion to approve the application of Pam Anderson, Norton High School cross-country booster organization for a road race, 5K road race to be held on Saturday, October 27, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any further questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Next, we have an application for one-day beer and wine license, liquor license to be utilized October 30th through September 3rd, 2018, from 7 to 8 p.m. at the Tournament Players Club of Boston Golf Course, entire green area, 400 Arnold Palmer Boulevard, Norton, Mass. For a private party. Now, you have a packet in your, you have a very large packet, actually, in your mail. Anyone here from TPC?
I'm here from the turn.
We'll get to you in a second. I mean, it's pretty much a standard one we've been doing every year, so. I entertain a motion to approve the application for a one-day beer and wine liquor license to be utilized August 30th. How can you do a one-day beer and wine from October 30th to September 3rd? How do you do that?
It's 5 one day.
Should be August 30th.
August 30th, August 29th is when they have the breakfast round. August 30th is the.
Just a one day? They're showing a range of days. We just want to make sure we do this right.
August 30th through September 3rd, and we're open to the public.
Yeah, I think it's because it's a temporary
Right.
license that they have to use a one-day liquor license application.
So
But
it's a-
on the licenses, they indicate that they're for 5 consecutive days.
Okay. I don't have a problem with that. I just want to make sure
Yep.
we're doing it right so it doesn't get kicked back to us. Any questions? Chair, entertain a motion to approve the one-day beer and wine license to be utilized August 30th to September 3rd, 2018, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Tournament Players Club of Boston Golf Course, entire greens area, 400 Arnold Palmer Boulevard, Norton, Mass. For a private party.
So moved.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Blemo?
Yes.
I too vote yes. We have applications of Soccer Village Foundation. Attention Lindsay Farina, Esquire, Skeen Law Firm, PC, 2614 Highway 516, second floor, Old Bridge, New Jersey, 08851, for a one-day all-alcohol license, August 30th to September 3rd, 2018, from 7 to 8 p.m. to be utilized at the Tournament Players Club of Boston Golf Course, 400 Arnold Palmer Boulevard, Norton, Mass. For private parties as follows. My understanding that we have to do each one of these individually. We can't do them as a broad. We have to approve each one individually. So, Mr. Brady, want to add anything to it?
No. Thank you all. I Hope you're enjoying the summer. We are looking forward to welcoming 120,000 fans out over Labor Day weekend, as we always do for the 16th consecutive year. We have Tiger Woods coming this year, so we expect really big crowds.
Kind of disappointed to see the recent news.
Yeah, we are. I would say a year ago it looked like we weren't going to be on the schedule at all moving forward. So for us to be on the 2020 schedule, we're really optimistic about that and hopeful that that leads itself to another annual event again. But it's better to be on any schedule than no schedule, I think, is what we're thinking.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
You say Tiger Woods is coming again this year?
I fully expect him to, yeah. He hasn't been here since 2013.
Yes, it's been a long time.
Been a long time.
That's great. Good news. Okay, let's go through these. Okay, Chair entertaining a motion to approve the William Hill Wine Lounge on the 11th green
Yeah.
With the,
for a one-day all-alcohol license.
with the stipulation that details are required by the chief of police and appropriate signage for 2 drinks, a 2-drink limit per person per service.
Okay.
And rather than read that, can I just say that is applicable to all licenses?
Apply to all, yeah, let's do it that way.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Further discussion. Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yep.
Mr. Bramwell?
Yes.
I do vote yes. We have a one-day all-alcohol license, August 30th to September 3rd, 2018, from 7 to 8 p.m. for the City Card Member Club on the 16th Fairway.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion. Seeing none, Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Bramwell?
Yes.
I do vote yes. We have a one-day all-alcohol license from August 30th to September 3rd, 2018, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the Grey Goose Lounge on the 16th Fairway.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to second. Further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Bramwell?
Yes.
I do vote yes. Chair would entertain a motion for a one-day all-alcohol license, August 30th to September 3rd, 2018, from 7 to 8 p.m. to be utilized at the Champions Club 17th Tee.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Bramwell?
Yes.
I do vote yes. Okay, Chair will entertain a motion to approve the all-alcohol license August 30th to September 3rd, 2018, 7 to 8 p.m., 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. to be utilized at the Spectator Oasis on the 17th tee.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to second. Further discussion. Seeing none, Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Bramwell?
Yes.
I do vote yes. Chair will entertain a motion for an all-day alcohol license August 30th to September 3rd, 2018, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. to be utilized at the CDW on the 15th green.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Further discussion. Seeing none, Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Bramwell?
Yes.
I too vote yes. Chair will entertain a motion for a one-day all-alcohol license August 30th to September 3rd, 2018, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. to be utilized at the Connell Limited Partnership on the 15th green.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Further discussion. Seeing none, Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Bramwell?
Yes.
I too vote yes. We won't miss doing this part, just so you know.
Good year off.
The Chair will entertain a motion for a one-day all-alcohol license from August 30th to September 3rd, 2018, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. to be utilized at the 16 Open Air Sky Chalet on the 16th green.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Bramwell?
Yes.
And I do vote yes. Chair will entertain a motion for one-day all-alcohol license, August 30th to September 3rd, 2018, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. to be utilized at the Wedgewood Club 16th green.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Bramwell?
Yes.
I too vote yes. You're getting all this written down? Maybe one of these motions, you get them all the same? Yeah.
As long as they just keep saying the same. Dash, dash.
Chair will entertain a motion for an all-day alcohol license from October 30th to September 3rd, 2018, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. to be utilized at the Grey Goose Lounge on the 16th green.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Bramwell?
Yes.
I do vote yes. We got to throw one in there once in a while to keep them on his toes.
Keep them honest.
Chair entertain a
Remember
motion.
when we had to review the minutes?
Chair entertain a motion to do a one-day all alcohol license from August 30th to September 3rd, 2018, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. to be utilized at the Charles Schwab 17th Green.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Nope, nope, I almost got you. Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Bramwell?
Yes.
I do vote yes. Chair entertain a motion to approve the all-day, all alcohol license August 30th through September 3rd, 2018, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. to be utilized at the FedEx 17th Green.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Bramwell?
Yes.
I do vote yes. We're getting there.
Halfway.
Chair entertain a motion to approve the one-day all alcohol license from August 30th to September 3rd, 2018, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. to be utilized at the Anheuser-Busch 17 Green.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. For discussion? Seeing none, all those do. Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Bramwell?
Yes.
I do vote yes. Chair will entertain a motion for a one-day all alcohol license from August 30th to September 3rd, 2018, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. to be utilized at the Green Side at Green Side at 17 on the 17th Green.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Bramwell?
Yes.
I vote yes. Chair entertain a motion to approve a one-day all alcohol license August 30th to September 3rd, 2018, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. to be utilized at the Comcast Business on the 17th Green.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Bramwell?
Yes.
And I too vote yes. Chair entertain a motion for one-day all alcohol license on August 30th to September 3rd, 2018, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. to be utilized at the Military Patriot Outpost on the 17th T.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Bramwell?
Yes.
I too vote yes. Chair entertain a motion to approve a one-day all alcohol license from August 30th to September 3rd, 2018, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. to be utilized at the Multiple Partners Suite on the 18th Green.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Bramwell?
Yes.
And I too vote yes. Chair entertain a motion for one-day all alcohol license from August 30th to September 3rd, 2018, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. to be utilized at the Harbor One 18th Green.
So moved.
Second.
A motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Bramwell?
Yes.
I too vote yes. Chair entertain a motion to approve a one-day all alcohol license August 30th, September 3rd, 2018, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. to be utilized at the CPS 18th Green.
So moved.
Second.
A motion is second. We have a lot of stuff going on the 17th and 18th.
Yes.
They're the most popular holes, yeah.
Must be getting crowded over there. Any further discussion? I had to say something.
I didn't get that.
Seeing none, Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Bramwell?
Yes.
I too vote yes. Chair entertain a motion for one-day all alcohol license from August 30th to September 3rd, 2018, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. to be utilized at the club seats on the 18th Green.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Bramwell?
Yes.
I too vote yes. And Chair will entertain a motion for a one-day all alcohol license August 30th to September 3rd, 2018, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. to be utilized at the Tournament Players Club of Boston for safety insurance on the 18th Green, again with the stipulation the details are required by the Chief of Police and appropriate visible signage for 2 drinks, limit per person and per service.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Flaherty?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Bramwell?
Yes.
I vote yes. Very good. I think you're all set.
Thank you to the
So
board.
hopefully we'll see you back in 2020.
2020, 2 short years. Thank you for your thoroughness, too, and everything. So, yeah. See you Labor Day weekend.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to the attorney. Quick. You're right.
Okay. Under announcements, Mr. Bramwell, you have anything?
I don't believe I do, but let me- I don't think I have
I don't think
anything.
I have any.
I thought I had seen something in the file. I must have misplaced it. Oh, here we have one. Yeah, we have in our packet a notice of a walk to benefit Mass General Hospital for the Children's Cancer Center. And order your honor flags today. You donate $20 to honor a loved one. It's Ani's March, and it's you register at DellTechnologiesChampionship.com. And Ani's March is Saturday, August 25th, 2018. It's a 5K walk and lunch at the TPC Boston. And other than, I don't see any phone numbers, so you'd have to go to the register at Dell Technologies Championship. It's all one word, .com.
Okay.
I believe that's all.
Mr. Steele,
Nothing, Mr. Chairman?
Flaherty?
Nothing, Mr. Chairman.
I'm going to try to have libs. I don't have the paperwork here, but Mike just reminded me. Next Friday, the 20th, a week from tomorrow, the president. You got that?
Yeah.
Want to read it?
Sure. So on Friday, July 20th, 2018, at 8 p.m. in the President's Garden at Wheaton College is a Symphony Under the Stars. The Great Woods Symphony Orchestra is going to perform a concert of classical and pop's favorites. Bring your blanket, a lawn chair, and relax. It's a great event. Was at it last year.
Yeah.
They do a great job. So
Very nice.
Yep.
Weather was perfect last year, too.
Very pleasant night. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. Encourage you to attend. It's right behind the president's house on Main Street. Very nice. Plenty of parking out the back by the Clark Building in that area, so lots of room. Okay, under new business, let me take this a bit out of, you have an appointment, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to take a couple of things out of order, just to get some people. I'm sure you don't have anything to do tonight, folks, but I'll try to get you out of here from this exciting meeting. Under appointments and resignation, we have the appointment of Bradford J. Rye as a special police officer. Chief Clark?
Good evening. So tonight I ask you to affirm the appointment of Brad Rye as a special police officer. From our staffing area, we currently have 6 special police officers. We kind of talked about this. We hire, a couple a year because of attrition. We do have 1 special police officer retiring at the end of August. So even though Brad makes 7 for a short time, we'll go back to 6. We have a couple people that we're looking at, one sponsoring through the Reserve Intimate Academy in the fall. So we're in pretty good shape there. Obviously, they're kind of the farm club, the Pawtucket Red Sox of our police department. That's how a lot of the full-time officers, including myself, started. Certainly, Brad brings a lot of good credentials. He's somebody who is highly recommended for this position. He just graduated from Nichols College with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. Certainly during that period, to show the amount of work and the enthusiasm and the motivation that went along with it, he sponsored himself through the Reserve Intimate Academy. That's 375 hours of work in addition to completing a college degree. It's a lot of work. I don't know if you can appreciate that, but I certainly do. So he's passed all the criteria that we have: a physical assessment, a medical, a psychological, and a background. And I ask you to affirm the appointment.
Sounds good. Congratulations on your graduation.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, want to say anything about yourself? Or?
I just want to say I appreciate your time right now. I'm looking forward to joining this department. It's definitely a job where I'm going to get to interact with the public and kind of create a positive relationship with them and just work to make this town a little bit safer.
New generation, right? I mean, it's just the way, I mean, the new generation coming forward is past 20 years, yourself included. Really, it's been, you know, an upgrade in the quality of the police officers that we have, with better educations, you know, more down-to-earth personalities, what I think is very important with the day-to-day interaction with that clientele that you have to deal with. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. But I think it's a great opportunity for you to get your foot in the door, and hopefully we can get you into a position where you've taken the initiative already to take all that extra on as a, you know, in addition to what you're already doing. I think it's great that we give him an opportunity to show himself.
So there is one other caveat to his appointment. You mentioned Wheaton College, the symphony next Friday, but the public safety, police and fire are playing softball against Wheaton College on Tuesday night, and I told the president that we were currently doing a recruitment for that, and Bradford is a very good baseball player from my understanding.
So that's what this rush is all about.
What's that?
Be beyond the mic.
All right.
Yep.
Did you play ball in school?
Yes, I did.
Get yourself a ringer, Chief. Good for you. Good for you.
It's certainly, you know, we were talking earlier, this is certainly a challenging career with mental health issues, the opioid addictions, you know, working in a fishbowl, it's a challenging environment, so.
No doubt. No doubt. We definitely have the qualifications, so we appreciate that. Anyone have anything? Want to add?
Like you had said, I can remember a youth in town, and first of all, they only had one police car, I think, to share. It was almost like Mayberry. And they never had, well, maybe they did, but they never seemed to have young men who, I mean, almost looked like they came out of the military. They were all older gentlemen, and it's a totally different police force than I can remember growing up in town. And just everything that you and the department have been doing over the past, like, decade, 2 decades, it's just so much more, to me, it appears to be so much more professional than it ever was in the past. And it's kudos to you and also to the people that you're attracting, such as Bradford.
Thank you.
Yeah, we agree. Anybody else? So we want the appointment effective, sounds like maybe
Tomorrow.
immediately.
Why, did practice?
7:25.
We have a game to play.
Do you remember a few years ago, we had a ball team, we had games against the police, and we had the selectmen playing against the police and the fire and the water department. It was a benefit.
Yeah.
We did it 20 years ago. I remember bringing my daughter along because she was a pretty damn good ball player. That was my ringer I brought in for that game. Okay. No questions. Chair, entertain a motion to appoint Mr. Bradford J. Rye to the position of Special Police Officer,
Specifically,
effective
July 13th.
July 13th, 2018. I said July 12th, just to cover it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going by what it says on the thing.
July 13th.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. Congratulations.
Very much.
Good luck to you.
Make sure you hit a home run in the softball game, you know. You don't want to start off on his bad side.
That home run could have a lot to do with your future, just.
Have to hand him the badge and the gun the first day.
Okay. And we have someone else here. Miss Sonia Sillis, you want to come on up? I'm going to take you out of order so you don't have to. I'm sure you have other things to do in this beautiful summer evening.
Thanks.
Okay. So good evening to all, to the members of the Board of Selectmen, Madam Selectwoman, of course, Mr. Town Manager, to the public watching this presentation. My name is Sonia Tillis. I'm the coordinator of the 2018 Norton Founders Day Committee, and I am here tonight to to provide a recap and a reflection of the June 16th event. I want to start by providing the warmest thank you to our sponsors, Horizon Beverage, Home Market Foods, Roach Brothers, Wingate of Norton, for greatly helping bring this event back to our town. I also cannot forget the several businesses who, with their generous sponsorship, helped support this event: Home Plate, Mainsville Bank, Northeastern Savings Bank, PGA Norton, Henry A. Yale Parent Association. Thank you to you too. Most importantly, I want to thank the community. Your presence, your support made this event possible. I am very glad that the majority of us made the effort to set aside whatever disagreements we have and came to support this event. This meant a lot for the members of the Founders Day Committee and to the volunteers that helped us deliver this day to all town citizens in the best way possible. So I will start with a little recap of the event. The turnout was great. Many people were happy that we had several activities to cater to all likes. The citizens were all jamming to the music all night long. Big shout out to CRS Project, Unlikely Strummers, Vinyl Frontier, DJ Gemini for their awesome performance, and of course to Alexandria Peza from Bella Music, a local business, who delivered the most beautiful version of America the Beautiful and the Star Spangled Banner. We had vendors who provided fun activities and had a great opportunity to promote their local businesses. We had a couple of organizations who managed to spread awareness of their charities and hopefully managed to gather some needed funding. We had food vendors who catered to the many tastes of our community, and the night ended with a magical fireworks display that I hope left everyone from 1 to 100 very pleased. I would like to begin my honest reflection by extending my apologies to any hiccups that happened on the day of the event and leading to the event. But at the same time, I want to thank for the continued patience. As a new committee, many of us, myself included, never worked in such a logistically complex event. As the day progressed, we took notes of what worked and what didn't work, and we learned a lot. While some mistakes were made, we will try our earnest to make sure that we will make the appropriate corrections for next year. I know that we cannot make everybody happy, but we sure can appreciate the understanding and the positive outcome that this event brought to our community. In the next statement, I want to make it known that we encountered many hurdles while planning this event. The obstacles we had to jump were made 10 times taller, and the criticisms we had to hear were 10 times louder. My mistake was that I never considered Founders Day as a politically charged event. I always thought of it as a community event where everyone comes together and lends a helping hand to make sure the day runs as smoothly as possible. I was gravely mistaken, but nonetheless, my group persisted. I will not talk about what happened last year or 5 years ago. While I deeply respect the work that was done in the past, it is time to move forward. It's time to put the differences aside and come together to bring a better, well-catered, and more entertaining event for the upcoming years. This is not being done for personal glory or accolades. It's done because I love this town and its citizens who are kind, helpful, and always generous. Our plans for the upcoming year are to fundraise smarter, ask for help more often, and try to bypass the negativity that will constantly simmer. So much good goes in this world that should outweigh that sentiment. After all, Norton Founders Day should be a positive, community-driven event, and it should remain as such. No more, no less. So with that, I hope to hear more from the community. We will accept suggestions, so you can send us a quick message on Founders Day Facebook page, or by emailing us at nortonfoundersday02766@gmail.com. I did create that. If I may, I want to end this presentation with a quick plug to an issue that I care deeply about: transplant services. So the volunteers of the Founders Day Committee are aware that my brother needs a new kidney. He's 27 years old. Unfortunately, I cannot provide him with that life-saving organ as I'm not a match. But I still wanted to help someone in need and recently entered the Be the Match registry where anyone can become a bone marrow donor. I hope the community can check this out and other organizations like this one and donate. Thank you.
Well said, well done. I mean, I thought the event was excellent. I've been to every one of them. I've been participating in every one of them. And I really didn't see much of a difference this year. I saw a lot of new faces. I saw people rising to the occasion and making sure that all my needs were dealt with.
Right.
And I mean, there were some things that, if there were things that were different, or if you guys are having any kind of hiccups, I didn't see them. I really didn't. I mean, we had a problem with some of the equipment, but it had nothing to do with the Founder's Day committee. It was just some of the stuff we've been using for years just isn't holding up as well as it used to. You know, the olden times like the rest of us. But I think overall, the entire evening the weather was perfect.
Yes.
You know, the fireworks were excellent. I finally got my first chance to actually stop and watch them. See them all. You know, I thought that everything was well done. And I thought, for the most part, the participation, I thought the amount of people this year, to me, seemed to be a bit more than in the past. And how I judge that is the wave that comes out after. You know, it seemed to me to be a lot more people this year. And it could have been a lot because of the weather, and I think having a year off,
Right.
you brought that back. But I, for one, really appreciate the fact that you guys made that happen.
Thank you.
We need to make some changes over there. I mentioned that to you right after that. I've already spoken to the school department. We're going to try to figure out a way to get a donation together where we can put a power behind the old school, that we don't have to use as many generators as we use, and we can control it. We can turn it off when we don't need it. And if the school department or any other organization needs power, it'll be there for them. And then if we have our Founder's Day event, we'll obviously have the ability to plug directly into the current and not have to worry about these generators that kind of surge. And I have a popcorn machine that doesn't work.
Yes.
It just will not work on a generator. As many as we tried, it didn't work. I took it home, I thought it was dead. I took it home, plugged it in the wall, and off it went. I mean, it's just the power. It's the amount of current that it takes to run that thing. But I will let you know that the Gold Star Committee has purchased a new popcorn machine. So make sure we have it set up and working well next year. But I think it was a great job, and I honestly, to you and your committee, I really do think you did a great job.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, Peter.
And I was there for the event, and I had a good time. Also, my friend Robert Stevens was there. His person was awesome.
You're
Peter,
the
you
best.
covered more miles that night than anyone I've ever seen. I saw you back and forth so many times.
Yep.
You were really on the move.
Videos of the event.
Very good. Anyone else? Mr. Steele?
Sonia, thank you so much. You and your committee did a fantastic job. I unfortunately was out of town that weekend, so I wasn't able to attend it, but I did see a lot of posts coming up, the fireworks. People really had a good time. I haven't heard one negative thing about the night, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Everybody went, enjoyed it. And, you know, after 12 years of working as a public servant, my advice to you would be ignore the criticism. The people who criticize have loud voices, but the people who are enjoying what you're doing tend to be quiet, and they're the majority. And if somebody's not offering you a solution or a suggestion or any sort of advice for your next event, ignore it. You're doing a good job. We're very lucky to have you in that position. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, make sure you thank the committee for us, too. I know you're talking about stepping down, or what are you doing? Talk to me. Talk to us. What are you doing?
So I put in my resignation for being a co-chair of the Parks and Recreation Department because some of the criticisms were very personal.
It's hard.
And yeah, it's my son. It's my husband. I'm sorry. That's like the red line that you cannot cross.
And, you know, it has to stop. As you said, we have to move forward.
It does.
I know there's a lot of
But
there's certain people out there. And
Yeah.
I mean, we get as much as anyone else does. I mean,
Yeah.
And after a while, as Mary said, you kind of have to tune it out. But I really appreciate what you pulled together this year, you and your committee. I'm sad to see you, stepping aside.
well, I'm not quite gone yet. Yeah. So
You about that?
well, I kind of consider Founder's Day as like my child now at this point. So kind of like the rebirth of it. My adopted child. So I will continue as part of the Founders Day Committee. There's going to be lots of changes, of course, next year. You know, I came here today to request the public's feedback. Maybe it's something that they want to see for next year, that we can make it happen. I've been told I have kind of a magic touch to make things happen, but we'll see. I mean, but it was just change that part. I mean, I don't want to say that it was part of the criticism. I can honestly say I have a pretty thick skin. I've handled a lot of hardships since I came to this country, and but I mean, I'm taking a new job in September. Sorry, as a public school teacher.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. Yes.
Good for you.
Yes.
Where are you going to be teaching?
I'm going to be teaching in Brockton. Yeah, that's going to be. It's my ethnic background. I know the kids. I know how the kids think. I know the parents. I know the languages because I speak 7 fluent languages, and yeah, I know the culture, and that's going to be the environment that I'm going to be very comfortable with.
I would ask you to reconsider on the recreation. You don't have to be chairman. I mean, chairman can be a lot of work. We all get that. We've all done it. You know, but stepping aside and letting somebody else take over a lot of that will, I think, relieve a lot of it. And you demonstrated as part of the committee how strong you were to pull that Founders Day back together again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you don't have to be front and center. You can
No.
still be a part of the committee,
Yeah.
but yet not have to be the one that taking all the bullets for whatever reason that might be. But I'd ask you to reconsider that because I really think you're a valuable member of that committee.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. Thank you.
I hate to see you go. 8 languages. I can't speak English.
7.
7. Oh,
Can't count either.
so much for my math skills. Thank you so much.
No problem. Any
Thank you
other
for your-
questions?
Anybody else?
Oh, thank you. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Okay. Let's go back to new business. We have an open meeting law complaint review, discuss, and respond to open meeting law complaint filed by Denise Luciano dated June 26, 2018.
Slide that, right?
We have a copy of this, right?
You do, but I think you have it before I made some edits, and I know Mike mentioned that he picked up on something in here too that needs to be changed. What page was that, Mike?
That is page 2, first sentence of the second, well, really the first full paragraph.
Meets every other Thursday.
That should be every other, yeah.
Did you find it?
Yeah, second page.
Second
Yep.
page, by way of
Third
background.
line.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
every other.
Top
Okay.
of the second paragraph.
Yep. Yep, what this is, Denise Luciano had made requests for several items, and one of them being meeting minutes. And as you know, we've been in flux with Janet resigning, and then we had a replacement who then resigned, and we're now looking for another recording secretary. In the meantime, we have reached out to Janet, and any minutes that are missing from 2017, she says that she will do, her goal is to do 1 meeting a week of minutes and get them to us so that we can get caught up. And so we have been dealing with Janelle Austin, who sent a notice to the Secretary of Office of the Attorney General's to let them know that you'd be discussing it tonight and reviewing this draft letter, and then we'd respond to the Attorney General, let him know that we will be doing whatever we can to get those minutes caught. And one of the things in here is to hire clerical staff to facilitate that, which we're working on. We actually put an ad out today for a recording secretary, so.
So under the open meeting laws now, we are required to record and take down minutes of the meeting. Even though we're doing it on live TV, it's being recorded, we are still required to do it in written form.
Correct.
You know, we haven't been on top of this for a long time.
No.
And I think the time has come for us to get serious about getting back on track. You know, even with I know we're kidding with you with some of the recent minutes we're taking here, but we've got to get these minutes done and approved. And I'm not sure we're the only department, the only board or committee that's behind a bit. I'm sure there are others that are doing it too. I know I serve on a couple of others that I got requests for meeting minutes, but for the most part, we're pretty much up to date. We don't meet as often as, say, the Board of Selectmen does, but
The town clerk's been very active in getting all the committees to get their minutes up to date, so.
but once we do that, how do we stay on top of it? How do we work with the town clerk to make sure that everybody is doing their minutes in a timely fashion?
She will just have to keep monitoring when she gets agendas and check every 90 days to see that she has those minutes.
Does she have the help down there to do that?
We're advertising for another part-time person. That third position's been vacant for a while, so now she's advertising for it.
And I get that. I know we've been shorthanded for quite a while. We've been shorthanded here. We haven't had a recording secretary in months,
Right.
so.
I-
Brad?
I might have misunderstood, but when we were talking about increasing the hours for the selectmen's secretary, I thought the idea was to have that person
That
take care of minutes also.
that will be,
That's still the plan?
yes.
And have you started the search for
We
that
have,
person?
we put out an ad for that, and then we're started the search, so.
Have you gotten any responses yet? Or-
Just did the ad this week, so.
Okay.
And the recording secretary positions, Kaylee, who was working on our minutes, has agreed to stay on just finance committee. So we still need someone else for the planning board minutes.
Anyone else? I mean, again, my concern would be that from now on, every time we have a meeting, the Board of Selectmen have a meeting, we should be approving some sort of minutes.
Yep. Well, that's especially where you're every other week now. So
Yeah.
it's enough time to get the minutes
Right.
done
It should be done.
once they're caught up.
So,
And I mean, we've got a problem, but I want to make sure that we're doing something so that the problem stops, and then we can play catch-up.
Right.
But I don't want to continue the problem going. That's why I want to make sure that we do
Get
something.
someone
about
in
getting
there.
Recording secretary in here.
When you take your minutes,
Mm-hmm.
I can't read my own writing, but yours aren't that bad. Could we hire could we look for a volunteer or something to help us get up to date?
I don't know if we can get a volunteer, but we get a part-time person in to get us up to date.
But I take the notes and put it on Facebook and put it on my Facebook page and put it on Spreader Norton, News with Peter J. Wiggins, put it on my Facebook page for people to see.
Thank you, Peter. Anybody else? Can we all agree, though, every time we get an agenda, there should be at least one set of minutes on that thing? And we have to, even, as Brad said, even the current ones, we should be staying on top of those and then trying to go back and fix some of the ones that we can't fix, so. Okay, so what do you need?
Just to agree to send that letter and with the edits and to get somebody part-time to get in here and get us caught up until we have a full-time person in there.
You have a problem with that?
No, I definitely,
No,
I mean, it's long overdue.
Chair, entertain a motion to authorize the town manager to sign on behalf of the Board of Selectmen the response letter to the June 26, 2018 open meeting law complaint.
So moved.
Second.
For discussion. 2 weeks, Mike, can we get some minutes
Yep.
so we can stay on top of it? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. My final comment would be, I don't think this is unique. I think most communities are probably experiencing a certain amount of, time and issue trying to get these things to stay on top of these minutes. But there was a time way back when cable access became available. One of the reasons why we all thought it was a good idea was because we didn't think we had to keep written minutes anymore, because it was being televised, it was being recorded. And then I think along the way, we got a determination from the Attorney General or somebody that, no, you still have to keep
Yeah.
written documents. So. And for those that are maybe listening that are on committees that may be behind on your minutes, once your minutes are completed, even as a draft with no signatures, you're supposed to send them to the town clerk's office, just so she has a copy of them. And then at your next meeting, you put the minutes on your next meeting agenda, and then you vote for it. I'm on the Gold Star Committee. We meet maybe once every 3 months, 4 months. But every time we meet, we already have done the minutes. We're just trying to approve them at the next meeting, and then we sign off and send them in, along with the new minutes that we're creating at the same time. If you can get in that kind of a trend, I think you'd be okay to try to stay on top of it. Okay, the next on the agenda is discussion on the solar development of the Slattery property. Stevens, I noticed you gave us a copy of the RFP you did at for the landfill.
Right.
So what do we have to do most of the script is there already. I know there's a lot of different words that have to be changed out, and there's some other. How did we do the last one? Did we hire a company to do it, or how did we do it?
When we did the RFP on the landfill, we hired a consultant. We paid, I think, $10,000 to have the consultant prepare the RFP, to solicit all the quotes, to review all the submittals that we received, to rank them, and then make recommendations to us on which ones were the financially most viable. And they also reviewed all the companies to see which ones were viable companies and which weren't, so that we weren't wasting our time giving a contract to someone that wasn't going to be able to perform. Just on that, just an example on the Hill Street solar facility. In the month of May, we received credits of $48,572. The Norton High School receives 20% of that. That's $9,714. The street lights, 20%, $9,714. The middle school, $9,714. The Solomon East, $4,857. This building, $4,857. The police station, $3,400. The town of Norton Pump House, $3,400, and the town of Norton Water Department well, $2,914. So they took whatever bills were the largest each month, and that's where these credits go.
So do we have $10,000 to hire a consultant?
We don't right now.
Can we put it on the October
Yeah.
town warrant?
Yeah.
I think it's, based on the information you just indicated there, if we could make that instead of 20%, 40%, you know what I'm saying? If we had two different viable programs that were
Right.
subsidizing us on electricity. I mean, in my opinion, the Slattery we bought that many years ago. It was purchased because we really didn't want to have a whole bunch of houses put out there. And then the town decided to buy it, and then the water department was saying, well, we need a place anyway. So they agreed to go in with us to purchase the property. But we have, how many acres out there that the Board of Selectmen is responsible for?
It's like 40 acres
Yes,
at
40
least.
or more acres. out there that could be utilized for something, and to my opinion, this is the best use for it.
Yeah.
It used to be nothing but a gravel pit. Brad probably remembers that more than I do. But it was pretty well mined out. But I think it's important that we continue to focus on using that property for something. And I can't see any other use for it other than recreational purposes, and the town's not gonna have the money to do that for 100 years anyway. So we might as well use it for something. You get into a 20-year agreement, at the end of 20 years, if you don't want it, you tell them, come take everything and go home. But at least we can utilize the property in the meantime, so if we can get an article for the
And,
town meeting, I think that would be very important.
and on the landfill, they rent the property for $80,000 a year, plus we get a $40,000 pilot payment every year.
So where's that 120,000 go?
That goes into the general fund.
General
right?
fund. See, I can do math. So I think it's important to understand that, you know, above and beyond what we're generating. And by the way, the facility we could build on Slattery, depending on how much space we have available, could double this, the landfill. I mean, there's so much room out there that we don't know until we do an RFP.
Yeah.
And I think the $10,000 is well spent to try to figure if we can generate some additional revenues, either through the pilot or through the rent or through just generation of electricity. I think it's all a great opportunity for us to take advantage of. And they really are a quiet neighbor. They're not that, you don't hear much from solar panels. I mean, you might get some buzz here and there, but for the most part, they seem pretty quiet. If I could put wind turbines out there, I would. But there's not enough wind here. So can we put that in the October warrant? No, I don't create enough wind, Mary, to do that.
I'm glad you could.
Good thing I have thick skin.
I just laughed at what he was thinking.
He did laugh first, now that I think of it. Okay, we have a tolling agreement between the United States, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and the town of Norton, Massachusetts, related to the Schmack landfill Superfund site. Reviewed, discussed, and vote to authorize Chairman Robert W. Kimball Jr. to sign said agreement. You all have a copy of it.
What this is this would extend the statute of limitations till 2020, so the parties can keep negotiating with the federal government on who the PRPs, what the federal government's going to get out of them. And they have agreed already to sign this, and our attorney, Mark Rich, has recommended that we sign it also, so that the federal government can continue to work to see what damages they can get from the PRPs for any environmental damage that was done out there.
Are we a PRP?
No.
No. We're a victim.
Yeah. There was a time, though, when we were on the PRP list, but I'm pretty sure they dropped it. Once we purchased the land ourselves so we could clean it up, I think we fell off. There was a time when we were being somewhat responsible for it. Anyway, so this is just to give them an extension so that they can continue to arrange for the PRPs to pay up their fair share of the cost of doing this landfill. I think they should pay for all of it myself, but especially the guy who ran it. You know, he can claim that he doesn't have a penny to his name, but you know, he should be paying to help.
Yeah, but I don't think he ran that one.
Did he go next door?
I think that landfill was before him.
That was a different one? Who did run it? Didn't he? Was it Schmack?
I'm not 100% sure, but
Must be Schmack.
I don't want to say names.
Yeah, I know. Well, Schmack came from somewhere.
Yeah, no, it was the property there. But I don't know if they were before or if they inherited the problem.
Okay. Okay, so, anyway, entertain a motion to authorize the chairman to sign the tolling agreement between the United States, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and the town of Norton, Massachusetts, related to the Schmack landfill Superfund site.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, others in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. You want to go give me a good pen? You fill in the rest?
Yeah. Thanks.
Discussion on the Green Community Guide. So, last Monday, I had a chance to meet with a gentleman from, Mike had given me some information about a company that does, works with National Grid, that does the retrofitting of buildings, commercial buildings. So I met with a gentleman to talk about getting the electrical problems at the old schoolhouse historical building and the Charlie Fire Station up to date, because both of those are in terrible condition. The lighting is gone. And trying to figure out a way to come up with a creative way to take care of some of the cost that will incur to replace some of the light fixtures and some of the bulbs and everything else that goes with it. He asked if we were designated as a green community. And I remember Mary Steele at the last Mass Municipal Association, we walked up to a map, and it was showing designation of communities that were so-called green community. And you and I had a conversation about it, and I just kind of forgot about it. The designation, and Mike can talk more about it, I think, than I can, but the designation requires you to do certain things, including some zoning changes. But the zoning changes are so close to what the state is going to mandate anyway that at this point it's almost like it's not a big deal to come up with the change. It's going to become a reality anyway. Things like the electric cars that Mike and the Board of Health negotiated for are part of that deal. You have to demonstrate certain things that you're doing to become a designated green community. And again, I'll let Mike talk about it, but I did get a call today from a guy that Mike you know, Chris Collins. And he kind of reinforced everything that the other guy said, but basically saying there's all these grants out there that you can take advantage of, but you must be designated as a green community. There's millions of dollars in grants going on out there. And there's only like less than 100 communities that are taking advantage of it. So I called Mike and asked him to look into it. He informed me that he was actually already working on it. So I'll let Mike speak more about it.
We've been meeting for like a year with Seth Pickering, who is
He's the guy, yeah.
he's our rep from the state on this, and he is helping us draft. We need two things. We're working on, with our cars and our retrofits we did in here, a reduction on our use of energy. And then we need solar by right. So he is reviewing our solar bylaw to see what needs to change in our solar bylaw to make it solar by right. When he came out last year in the spring, we just weren't, this year in the spring, we were too close. It was very early, late winter, early spring. It was too close to town meeting. So he hopes we can get back in October. So we'll need that change, that zoning. And also the building code, we have to change that to adopt the stretch code. And that had always been the hang-up, because the builders didn't want to have to meet all the energy requirements in the stretch code. But most of them are becoming regular requirements anyways now, and they're gonna be requirements soon, so that should not be a big hang-up. But those are the two things, and Chris Carmichael is very aware of what needs to be done for the stretch code, because he was in Middleborough when they were working on this, so he'll be helpful with it too.
So what do we need to do? What's it going to take for us to be ready for October? I think this is a very important designation, based on the fact that we can get, we're talking about getting equipment, we're talking about getting different things. He's saying, if you're designated green, you can take advantage of these grants. And there's so much that we need to do. Can we make this a priority for October?
Yeah, we will have an article on the October warrant to change and the planning board will have to have hearings on that.
Okay, we can focus on getting that done between now and October. Okay. Mr. Steele?
Sorry for my ignorance, but what does solar by right mean?
What was that?
What does solar by right mean?
Right now, that is That's a good question. That's what we need him to clarify. Right now, you can only have solar with a special permit. You can still have site plan review requirements, but you wouldn't be able to deny someone from putting solar on a piece of property.
So, would that be like me putting solar panels on my house? or
No,
is this
you can do
solar
that. You
farm?
have larger,
Oh, okay.
larger facilities.
And what is the stretch code?
The stretch code is just requirements that when a contractor is building a house, better windows,
Oh, okay, so things that
more
make it
insulation, things like that, so the home will, which should be a plus for a builder. I mean, if you can tell someone that you built this house to meet the stretch code and they're gonna save, it should help them. I know it might make it cost a little bit more, but still, it
So
should
like
be.
you said, a lot of those regulations are going into
Yeah,
effect anyway.
they will be soon.
One of my son-in-laws, it has his own company that does like the energy audits. He's gone to MIT and, figuring out where loss is. And he was mentioning that the state is working towards making new construction have to have at least the infrastructure for the solar panels on the roofs. So that even if you don't want to put them on right away,
Yeah.
the wiring is going to have to be in the
Wow.
new construction to be ready to adapt for it.
Yeah, the guys I spoke to said, I mentioned about new town hall and new COA. He said, oh yeah, he said, these grants are designed for us to go in. If we asked to get involved from the very beginning, so we can lay out the new buildings, take advantage of every energy savings that's available, including getting grant money to help, subsidize some of the costs. Now, I was wrong, I said like 100 communities, there's 210 cities and towns that are already committed to this green program. And energy leaders have accessed grants of over $39 million that they're designated for these green programs.
And when you were talking about the town hall, that was one of the things Seth said. If you build a town hall that is more energy efficient, that helps you out with your green community designation because you're cutting down on using energy.
But they'll also come in, according to, I forget the other guy's name, but they will come in and they'll look at the plans at the early stages of it and make free, no charge, and make recommendations on how you can save more energy. And if you follow some of their suggestions, there could be grant money available to help you to reach that, that level. So I think it's very important. But I think getting it prepared and ready for the October town meeting is very, very important. I think it has to be something we really have to do. Some of the criteria, we've already done it. I mean, hybrid and electric vehicles, you already got those, right? 25% reduction in energy use. I don't know about that. Although we're putting in windows and doors in the schools, that should save some energy, I would think, in the long run. So, okay. Yeah, I think we need to make that a priority for the October town meeting. So we've got the slattery now, and we've got the green program, green community program. Okay, next on the agenda, we have a review to vote the authorized town manager, Michael D. Eunice, to sign a contract with DBVW Architect for a town hall feasibility study.
The building committee reviewed all the proposals that came in and recommend DBVW Architects for the town hall feasibility study. And you have a copy of their contract in your packet. And the total cost is $103,430. And this will be to investigate 2 sites here behind us and the Elm Street property. And it'll include engineering and parking design and utilities.
Mr. Steele?
So we have a feasibility study approved for the town hall and for the senior center?
There's a, I'll be coming back, we're working on a contract with another company for the senior center.
So I have a question. Is there any will they put any thought to one building for both?
Yes.
Okay, so those, even if it's different companies, they'll work,
I've told them both, and they said they will talk with each other if the Elm Street site's available, so we could build one building on that site.
yeah, okay.
It would make sense to do it that way.
Right, yeah.
You know, here it may be a different
I was just
story.
getting nervous when I realized that they
Yeah.
were giving the feasibility study to two different companies. I wasn't sure if they had our interests.
They know when I mentioned to each of them who the other company was, they know each other, and they said that there'd be no problem talking. As a matter of fact, the company that's designing the senior center more or less said, whatever, when we sit down with people and we develop a program and see what they need for a building, it's more or less transferable. So if we decided, say, to use one site on Elm Street, and we have a town hall and a community room and that senior center all attached as one building.
Just keep in mind, we're also we're part of the control of this. We can decide what we want to do and what we don't want to do. You know, if we come back with recommendations and we decide to use Elm Street, put up two buildings, that's going to be our decision, not theirs. You know, we'll make the final decision of what's going to happen. We have to build behind here. That kind of puts a floor in it because there's not enough room for a COA in a town hall here. So, but I think we have to keep in mind that along the way, the Board of Selectmen is still going to be involved to a certain extent on what's going to be finalized.
So I have a couple minor issues with this contract. Well, one minor and one not as much. He's looking for a 15% surcharge on reimbursable expenses when we don't get to approve the expenses. He lists out what they may be, one including long-distance communications. I couldn't tell you the last time someone paid for a long-distance phone call in the United States. So that just strikes me as a little bit of nickel and diming. The real issue I have, though, is on the last page, they're limiting the liability of pretty much anything they could do wrong to the value of the contract. So we'd really be, regardless of how much liability insurance evidence to us we may be requiring, the contract is limiting the liability to $103,000 or whatever the final value of the contract would be. I take a bit of exception to that. So I'd like to see that negotiated.
Okay.
That's a good catch, but you must speak the language, but I didn't read it that way.
I read a lot of contracts.
I didn't read it that way. Appreciate you taking the time to read it. I agree. I think we need to look into those. And Mike, if you see, Flaherty, if you see anything else, please.
Yeah, I'll look at it a little bit more closely, but those just leapt off the page at me.
So what's the next step then? Do we go back to them?
Yeah.
With Mike's, yeah. I actually agree with him on the reimbursable. It does seem a little petty.
Yeah, I mean, I do this too, and
Others.
it's,
I mean, no, it's petty on them to charge
no,
us,
I
not-
agree, but
not
yeah,
for
because
you to-
the expenses are usually a pass-through.
Yeah.
So we wait until you
Yep.
go back, we'll put it on the next agenda. Any other questions? If you see anything else, if you read through it, and I guess I'll do a better job of reading through it again, but if you see something, please let Mike know your concerns, and see if we can deal with it anytime. I will tell you that Jane and I spent an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes tonight, taking a walk through this town hall. You know, recently at town meeting, and even on the street, people can keep saying, well, what do you need a new town hall for? And as much as I'd love to come and give a guided tour of this building, I'm glad to do that anytime someone wants to see it. You just have to wear an oxygen mask when you go downstairs. But the point of the matter is, this building is crumbling and falling down, and we better come up with a plan to fix it, or replace it. And I think replacing it would cost a lot less than trying to fix it. So, Jane and I took a walk tonight with the camera, and we went from office to office and floor to floor, and showing the different issues that we were experiencing here at the town hall. So people at home, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, Shane will have it ready to go on cable access, so people can look at it, see exactly what we're looking at every time we come into the building. I asked Mike if he knew the year that this building, there's two buildings. 1979 is from is the fire department. That's when they built the new fire department. This was an existing building called College of the Pines. We're sitting on the stage. That's the auditorium. That's how it looked. And you might remember it. I don't remember. But
1910.
it appears
I don't remember that.
it appears it was around 1909 or 1910 that this building here was actually built. This one here that we're using. So it's been around a while. And it's got a lot of imperfections. And taking the camera and walking through and looking at things through a viewer, I think made it even more visible to me as I walked around. But one thing Mike was doing, he was going through some old paperwork, a report that was done on by a company called Preservation Partnership, and I remember this being done. It was done in 1996. It was right after I became a selectman. And they did a complete assessment of the entire town hall. There's a couple of things on here that in 1996 were highlighted that are still a major issue today. Getting beyond the fact that the air quality in the building is questionable a lot of times, there are some severe issues here. But according to the town office issues, it says this overcrowding is not only ridiculous, it is presently illegal. The illegality stems from the ADA and is in full compliance since January 24th, 1995, which sets spacing standards for furniture in order to encourage the hiring of handicapped wheelchair-bound employees. A crowded environment is held to be de facto discrimination under the ADA guidelines issued by the U.S. Department of Justice. A couple paragraphs later, I think they pretty much nailed it. If I can find it. Right here. This is a report again from this company, the Preservation Partnership. And they were pretty blunt about their assessment. The town offices have been designed with less competence than skill. The old gym was remodeled into a two-story structure without altering its fenestration, resulting in a dark and poorly ventilated work environment. Open wells were left at front and rear, so that all stale air collects on the second floor. Corridor space is wasteful, duplicated to old and new parts of the building, and in the new parts, all windows are in the corridors, and people are regulated to dark and stifling interior offices. The failure opens office concept and affection of the 1970s has resulted in petitions which impede the airflow from the simplistic HVAC system, and the overcrowding has reached truly ridiculous levels. While all these defects, it would not have been surprising for us to give up on this building, but our recommendation would be quite opposite in nature. So even back then, they were looking at it thinking, maybe we can still save the building. But these reports are from 96, and nothing's changed.
Right.
Over the years, if anything, the building's getting worse, not better. So, as we get more involved in the construction of the Council on Aging building and the Town Hall, we're going to have more open dialogue about the reasons why we need to have these facilities. I know it's a tough time financially. I know people are saying we're strained financially, but if we don't start working in that direction, we're never going to get it done. And we have to stay focused on what the real needs are here and figure out a way, create a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying we have to have departments working against each other. I'm just suggesting that we've got to come up with a way to get these mistakes, so these old past mistakes fixed before they become a problem. If you can check on those, go back and see if you can negotiate a better deal, that would be better, I think. Okay, review and update on year-end transfers.
I met with the Finance Committee last night, and want to thank all the departments. Everyone was pretty good this year in staying within their budgets, and for the end of the year, all we needed was $18,922.66. and the Finance Committee took care of that through reserve fund transfers. We needed $500 for legal. Conservation needed $455.37 in expenses, and that was due to reconciliation. James was working with them on reconciling accounts from previous years where they get review fees in and determine that they had some money that they owed, and that was what that was for. Planning, $484 in advertising with all the projects that the planning board has been doing with the grant money, and so they've communications, $10,778 in overtime costs. We had someone that left mid-year, and trying to replace them now. The dog officer, $1,748 in overtime, and also he needed $590 for his propane expense for heat. Public health nurse was $100 because they miscalculated her longevity. Council on Aging, $119 for heat also, and as she said, the cold April really hurt them. They didn't expect it to be that cold in April. And gas and diesel fuel, we needed $4,148. So not bad. The Finance Committee will end the year with $100,714 in the reserve account, which started at $150,000. So.
Good. That goes back into free cash.
Free cash.
So we don't have to take any action.
No.
All set. Town manager's report?
Also, last night at the Finance Committee, I presented them with the packet of information that was reviewed with the residents that attended the budget presentation. I gave you a copy of all the information. And the people that attended also were provided with the opportunity of picking up this information on Prop 2.5. And as you can see in the packet, I also gave them information on, with a link to this website that this came from, because they actually have some pretty good presentations on there for them. And, you know, during that presentation, we were just emphasizing the fact that we only have so much money. If we don't have an override, we have to live within our 2.5. And so that's our limits. We showed them where all the money comes from, free cash, new growth. And just to give you some comparison on the school budget this year with Easton, Foxborough, and Mansfield in Norton, so our neighbors around us, this year, Easton increased their budget 3.38%, Norton 3.33%, Mansfield 2.8%, and Foxborough 2.64%. So we actually increased more than Foxborough and Mansfield percentage-wise. And if you look at that dollar-wise, $1,351,291 in Easton. We were more than Foxborough, that was at $901,521. Mansfield was $1,374,648, and Norton was $1,135,472. And the next graph shows you that the per pupil expenditure in Norton, the increase this year that was provided by the taxpayers was about $100 more than our neighboring towns. So with the limits we have with 2.5, I think the Finance Committee did a good job in doing what they could.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope. Oh, not on that. I've got, just wanted to let you know that firefighter Mike Wilson and Firefighter Josh Wilson lost their father and grandfather yesterday, and condolences to them.
It was posted.
They're Mike's father and Josh's grandfather. So condolences to them. Just wanted to let you know about Home Market Foods. They're in their facility now, and they've been great with us. They allowed the fire department all shifts to train on their new ammonia system. The general manager also went door to door handing out his business card in the neighborhood, letting people know if they have any issues or concerns, they can call. And they said they're very appreciative of all the support they've had in Norton.
Good.
The NOAA ribbon cutting is August 1st at 11 a.m. So they were waiting for whoever was going to come up from Washington before they scheduled it, so they've been in there, but it'll be August 1st. Just wanted to let you know that the woman on Robinson Lane has cleared up the town property of everything on there. Lucia wanted everyone to know that she needs poll workers, so if anyone is interested in being a poll worker, if they could please contact Lucia. Keith wants you to know that there'll be milling and blacktopping starting Tuesday, Old Taunton Ave to East Hodges to the Taunton line, about 7,000 feet of roadway. So the people in that area, heads up. The Water and Sewer Department will be having a pre-construction meeting next Wednesday for the Reservoir Street Water Main Replacement Project, so that's moving forward. And I just wanted to congratulate Deputy Chief Sean Simmons, who received his certification as fire chief from the state. Congratulations to him on that.
Congratulations, good.
I just want to also say that we do need people for the Zoning Board of Appeals, if anyone is interested. We need alternates. We have 2 alternate positions vacant, so if someone is interested in that, we could use the help. And just wanted to say that we were contacted, before I get into that, the fire department wanted to thank Norton Cable Access. Norton Cable Access provided the fire department with grant funding, $2,166 to improve technology over at the fire department. And they'll be very helpful, and we appreciate their assistance. There was software to improve technology, monitors, and laptops. And just a reminder, on the 25th at 6 o'clock is the meeting in Mansfield on the regional dispatch to give you an update on where we are. And we
If you
did.
make that would be great. The meeting for the new weather station. I won't be around that day, but someone else can be there if you're available. That's the dedication?
Yeah.
What day is that? August 1st?
August 1st.
It's the new, not gonna be Taunton weather anymore, it's gonna be Norton weather, I hope. The Norton weather station, not the Taunton weather station.
And departments are working, police, fire, and highway. We did receive notice on June 29th that we were declared a disaster area for the March 2nd and 3rd storm.
Good.
So Keith has already put in his information, and police and fire are working on theirs. And they'll be attending a information session that's put on by FEMA on how to apply for grant reimbursement.
That'd be nice.
And just one other thing I handed out to you tonight. We were contacted, we've had a couple contacts from people concerned about activity on the reservoir. One neighbor down by Juniper Beach, and we have changed the signs there so that there's only parking from 6 a.m. to sunset. The police will be monitoring that, and we've had concern raised about activity of motorboats on, and jet skis on the reservoir. And so I provided you tonight with a draft of what we're looking at for a sign to regulate. You know, we recently passed a bylaw that 35-mile speed limit on the reservoir, and limits on the speed of 6 miles per hour near shore or docks. I mean, there's not, we'll do what we can, we'll post the signs and we'll do what we can, but I know that the town works to try and get the environmental police to come out and monitor once in a while. They can go out there on their craft and try and monitor things, but they're very few, so, you know, it's hard to get them out.
If we don't have signs put up, then we can't enforce the rules and regulations, and people don't know what they are, so we have to put the signs up, first of all. On the jet skis, is there a moratorium put in place for no jet skis on Lake Winnicott?
There's just a time limit,
Time, okay. I know we did something a few
9
years
to
ago.
4 or something like that.
Yeah, we did something a few years ago to restrict the jet skis. They were coming from everywhere. And here's the downside. We cleaned up the waterways. Okay, we're getting these weeds under control. Now people want to use them.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's what they're there for. But we do have to have rules and regulations in place at the same time. And at some point in the game, along the way, we have to get a town boat ramp installed on Mansfield Ave and relieve some of the pressure on some of these small streets in the Grove, because that's all we've got to offer at this point. We have nothing else to offer. And until we can come up with some money to get that boat ramp in place, we're going to have to, the neighborhoods in the Grove are going to have to deal with the pressure of all these boats.
And the conservation agents has arranged a meeting, I believe next Tuesday we're meeting,
Yeah, 10 o'clock.
to discuss possibilities of doing something at Sangs. That would be a good spot for boat access
Well,
there.
they used to use that quite a bit. That was one of our better boat access points until people became slobs and started trashing the place and throwing trash on the ground, and the owners of the property owners said, look, I can't. You know, we can't do that.
I don't remember launching boats there. They used to have a beach there.
They had boats there. For a while, they were boats at the bottom. But they were throwing trash on the ground when they came off, and I don't blame the owner for stopping it. But just totally stopped it.
Can I ask you a question on that? Why would we be looking at that property instead of, we can't
Mansfield
do
Ave?
anything at Mansfield Ave? Like, yeah, why spread ourselves thin? Is there no other option right now?
We would look at Mansfield Ave also, but the benefit of that area is it's deeper.
Oh.
Mansfield Ave, we'd be looking at options as far as kayak, obviously you can get in there, and canoes, but I don't know if you can get motorboats in down there.
So if we don't provide the access, then we limit people
Well-
coming from out of town to put their boats in.
Well, the problem is right now, they're all going to Juniper Beach,
Oh. Can we
and
make that more restrictive?
hopefully we could,
Like put a gate up?
Well, we got Pinot Cove there too now. That's the area you just got cleaned up. I don't know how deep that is, but, you know, that's another point where you might be able to get something in there. I'm gonna try to make that meeting on Tuesday, and I'll ask about that one too, because that's another possibility of a place to put a boat in the water.
And North Reservoir, swimming is off limits, right?
I don't know.
Wouldn't go in it.
I do know that we bought that Mansfield Ave property to put a boat ramp in, and we never had the funds to do it. We're sitting on it, we're paying for it.
Right.
You know, we were hoping to find some kind of a grant or something along the way, but we just never found anything that we could use to make that happen, so.
Well, maybe we need to, you know, with the solar farm coming, maybe we need to earmark some money if we get money over at Slattery or something. Say, okay, the money coming in, we're gonna use that to
Portion of it.
better another part of the town. And it kind of goes with the same, improving the community, the greenness, all of that, so.
Yeah, good idea. Anything else? I think the sign's perfectly fine. It's just got the information that we voted in 2016 anyway, so.
Keith's gonna love it.
Do they have the, maybe we have a little holder underneath, like a mailbox, where they can pull out a copy of this, or they're so inclined to do so? So they have we have,
Trying to be green, don't print anything.
Eliminate it.
never mind.
Yeah, if you do that, then somebody's
Or
gonna come and
put
they're
it
gonna take them
in the
all and throw them.
They'll be in the reservoir.
Yeah.
Anything else on the town manager's report?
Nope.
Okay, we have a request for the appointment to the Industrial Development Commission. Fortunately, we've had 4 people that have stepped forward. Your copy is much better than mine. I had to rewrite mine.
Ah.
So, right now, we have 3 vacant positions on the alternate position, right?
You have 2 alternate positions that are vacant, and you have 5 regular positions. Technically, he hasn't responded, so
He responded?
has not. So you have Mary and Bob
Okay,
Sabo.
Mary and Bob Salvo are
Said they
good
want to be
until,
on there.
they're good until 2020.
I'm not,
Mary's not,
I'm not on it.
so
Mine expired in 17.
2020.
No,
It says 17.
it says 2020 on here. You and Bob,
What do you-
you and Bob Salvo were reappointed to
Reappointed.
2020.
Oh, 2020 right there. Damn. Okay, so I'll resign,
Okay.
so I'm out of the running. Okay,
So-
carry on.
So you have 6 that you can appoint as members of the committee, and you could appoint 2 alternates if you
All
want.
right, so right now we have 4, so those 4 will become permanent members of the committee, right? With no alternates. We're still going to have,
Please provide me with a resignation letter.
you can't just quit like that.
So, Mike has shown interest in being on the committee, and I was on it for so long, and we can't have 3 selectmen on it.
That's right. What's the point,
Do we
right now, if,
quorum? Do we have 3 of us?
yeah, there can't be 3 of you on there.
Right.
But you're still interested in being on there? So, just to be clear on this, but I'm not, we have,
Mary is
Mary's gone.
gone.
So we've got
take
4, we've got 4 appointees, and we still have 2 alternate positions available?
3.
No, you have,
5.
you,
Zero.
for the committee, it's a 7-member committee.
7
So
members, okay.
You have Bob Sabo, and then Mike Flaherty wants to be on that.
Okay, let's talk about who's already on there.
Mike,
So I got-
Bob Sabo,
Bob Salvo is the only standing member, right,
right.
of 7.
We have 1 that we haven't heard back from, so,
So we can appoint Mike and we can appoint the 4
right,
that are
and
here.
leave the other one in contact.
Yeah,
and
we'll
get
still
some-
be okay. We don't have to appoint any alternates.
Right.
Okay. We should look for alternates, but we shouldn't, we don't have
Right.
to appoint it.
Right.
Okay. Mary just quit, so we don't have to worry about that.
I'd like to say that I stepped aside for the better of the town. I didn't quit.
Mary just
Let's
quit.
phrase this correctly.
Didn't you just quit? Didn't you just say I
I have the
resign?
best interest of Norton at heart, so I'm stepping aside to give somebody else a chance.
Don't we have to vote on whether or not we accept her
Except,
resignation?
no, I don't think so.
Yeah, don't we?
Nice try, though.
Yeah, we have done that in the past.
Yeah, yeah. All right, here, this is, here's the way it's copied, it isn't clear to me, but. Okay. So we presently have 6 positions. Well, okay, let's
Right,
say,
right.
let's say Mr. Rich wants to still serve, so let's talk about 5.
No, if he wanted to serve and Bob Sabo was on there, yeah, you'd have 5.
So we have 4 people who are looking to be put in as full-time members of the IDC.
Plus Mike would make 5.
That would be fine. Like Flaherty. Because Mary just quit.
Right.
Now you can do that. Okay, anybody have any questions about this?
No.
Seeing none, the chair would entertain a motion to appoint the Industrial Development Commission. And by the way, my first suggestion would be you might want to look at the name of it. I'm not sure that's the right term anymore.
Right.
When you do meet, Mike, if you are on this, Mary quit, so you can take care of it.
I'll take care of it.
But I would put in an automatic nomination. I would put Renee Daly, David Henry, Heaney, Denise Luciano, Mike Toole, and Mike Flaherty.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. I want to stress again that we do have alternate positions available if anyone's interested. But this will make it a committee of 6 or 7, I'm not sure yet.
Who made the motion, Brad?
No, Mary made it. I seconded it.
We have a motion by Mary, seconded by Brad.
She'll do anything to get off the.
Who's Mike Flaherty replacing? Mike Flaherty's replacing who?
Mary
So-
Steele.
Oh, Mary.
Mary Steele, she's good to 2020.
Okay.
So, yeah, I would do Mary.
Do I really have to give a letter? Mike, is that part of the process?
Because she,
You
what's
have
that?
to
Do I
resign.
really have to give a
You
letter,
have
or
to quit.
Just send an email. Send me an email.
I'm gonna send you a letter, it's
Just
gonna be
say,
a book.
You should
I
use
quit.
spaceless sprockets on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Send me an email that you respectfully step aside.
Yes, for
For the benefit of Norton.
Michael Flaherty.
We appreciate that, Mary.
You know, I try to do what's right for the rest of you guys.
Okay, any other questions?
Are we going to vote on it?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Present.
You can vote for yourself.
Aye.
It's unanimous. I vote for myself all the time.
You don't vote for yourself on election day?
Depends. So far, I'm 1 for 2.
Well, thank you to all the volunteers. Hopefully this Industrial Development Commission will get up and running as soon as we can.
And don't forget the ZBA.
Is there a chair, do you know?
Well, no,
The chair resigned 3
the
years
committee
ago.
will have to reorganize.
Are you going to handle that? Okay. Michael Eunice will handle reorganization of the committee because we have so many Michaels on the committee. I want to make sure that Michael Eunice is going to be the one that's going to do the reorganization, all meeting together. Okay. Thank you all for volunteering. Hopefully you guys can make some headway on that.
Yep.
I would ask you, Andy, to take a look at the name. It may not be the right name anymore to use.
Right.
And all you'd have to do is let us know. We can just change the name. Okay, we also have a vote to reappoint Mary Ann Steniford to the Town Common Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. This is not the Town Common Revitalization Committee. This is the Town Common Committee, which there still is one out there. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Vote to appoint Michael D. Unit to the Mansfield Foxborough Norton Wastewater District Commission effective July 1st, 2018. We have to do that?
Yeah,
How often?
every year.
Really?
I'll have to check that and see why it has to be every year, but, yeah, I couldn't vote at Tuesday night's meeting because I never got reappointed, so.
Okay, I move that we reappoint Michael Eunice to the Mansfield Foxborough Norton Wastewater District Commission, effective July 1st, 2018. All those in favor?
I'm waiting for a second.
She seconded it.
Twice.
You seconded it twice? I didn't hear you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Amend the vote to vote for zoning board appointment for Lucas Wasiak from alternate to permanent. So we have a,
You had appoint him as an alternate, and there's a full-time
but
position.
there is a full-time position.
Permanent position.
Okay, so, any questions?
Nope.
Chair, entertain a motion to vote to appoint Lucas Wasiak from alternate to permanent member of the zoning board of appeals.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second, further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. We have a vote to appoint Lisa Carosa at-large member of the Storm Water Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Is she on the planning board?
Conservation.
Oh, actually on conservation, that's right. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous.
Who did the ZBA? Who made the motion?
I
Right.
He made the motion. Mike, second.
Okay.
Keep it up, we're going to have to get a new secretary. Okay, we got all those taken care of. Okay. Anything on the selectmen's report and mail?
I have nothing.
Mr. Steele? Mr. Flaherty?
Nothing?
Harry did mine. Okay. The warrants and minutes. Report of the chairman to entertain a motion to approve fiscal year 18 biweekly payroll warrant number PR 27 for a period ending June 30th, 2018, dated June 30th, 2018, the amount of $524,032.09.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion that's by Brad, seconded by Mike. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Entertain a motion to approve the fiscal year invoice warrant AP 53 dated June 29, 2018, the amount of $1,152,902.14.
So moved.
Second?
A motion by Brad, seconded by Mike. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Chair, entertain a motion to approve fiscal year 19 invoice warrant AP 19-01 dated July 5th, 2018, the amount of $1,190,318.64.
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Brad, second by Mike. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Chair, entertain a motion to approve fiscal year 19 payroll warrant PR-19-01 dated July 5th, 2018, the amount of $75,555.39.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. And we have a motion, entertain a motion to approve fiscal year 19 invoice warrant AP 19-02 dated July 12th, 2018, in the amount of $286,505.17.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. We do want minutes on the next one, right? We'll have some minutes for the next meeting?
Yeah.
The next meeting agenda is July 26, 2018. If anyone has anything they want to bring up, feel free to give Mike a call. Let him know. Is there anything else to come before the board? And all those, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A motion by Brad, seconded by Mary. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Thanks. Thanks, Shane.